Yeah, we're going to go ahead and take this off and look inside there and go ahead and maybe look at getting some new bearings and for a couple of the bearing sets. There's 3 bearings in this particular hub. So we're going to take it apart, look at it. For those of you who do not have experience with coaster brakes, the 76 Bendix coaster brake, the 70s are very similar to this model, and we'll talk about even converting it to freewheel. And I'll see you after we'll get some new bearings and stuff for this. Alright, as I sit here and watch one of the coolest builds there ever was, Grind Hard Plumbing. This is the assembly for the Bendix. Turn that down here. Alright, this is the Bendix guts. These are the old bearings here. These are some new bearings that I picked up. The actual bearing guide holder is just a little larger than we want, so we may swap those bearings out into that carrier. And then once I get things a little bit more situated, I'm going to show you how all this goes together and review exactly how the Bendix coaster brake works and how you can convert it to freewheel. That is some of the tar that was attached to everything inside this bike. It is just hard and tarry and nasty. Anyways, alright, let me get this set up and we'll get after it. Okay, here's some of the tar that was in some of the bearings and stuff again. Alright, the bearing keepers for that I got with the new bearings are too large for the hub here, so what I'm having to do is really clean these up. I found the best way to clean all that tar out was to use a torch. And we're gonna put some grease in here and put the new bearings in, and then we're gonna go get into this reassembly of the hub. Okay, we got the bearings reassembled. You can see that the newer carriers were 1 bearing each extra worth of bearings than the old, but they are a proper diameter. Now, take and just a touch of grease all over smeared these brake shoes. These brakes work on friction and pressure together, the pressure creating the friction. And I went ahead and put a light layer of grease. When you put these things in dry, they will snag and hang up. Now, I'm going to put just kind of a light touch of grease on all the mating surfaces. A little bit inside there, that wedge. This wedge needs to unwedge. As much as it wedges, it needs to unwedge itself. Now, the way I reassemble these is take this part and this part and assemble them in the hub together first. Make sure everything works good and smooth. Oh, that's really nice and smooth. Now, the way this drops in is the screw goes towards the back, and then we're going to screw the spindle in from the rear so that, and then it is engaging. Okay, it's kind of actually locked in now. If it locks in on you, you could unscrew it a little bit and then take a mallet and then punch it, or just, that one didn't take any pressure at all. So don't worry if it locks up on you. Now, you can see that there's some keyway holes there. These brake shoes, 2 of them a piece on the 76 model, fit on each side.
The 70 model has only
key.
2 shoes.
And with that grease, it holds them shoes in for you nice and snug. You don't have to worry about things falling all over the place. Okay. Now,
to convert to freewheel mode, you would leave the brake shoes out, insert 2 washers and a spring between the washers to keep the spindle to engaging into the sprocket.
I'm going to make sure all this has a nice lump of grease on it. And you can see there's a key here, and it goes there and there. Pretty simple, straightforward. Just like that. Now there's the bearing cup. You can go ahead and put a little bit of grease just on the inside surfaces. That keeps the corrosion and water out. But you don't want to smear it all in there, because then it'll heat up and get all over the outside of your hub. And then we apply the brake bar. Put a little nut on it. Okay, and once we got the brake pedal on and brake bar, what I'm going to do is unscrew this side so we can install the next set of bearings. I'm going to slip those in there like so. Put a little extra dab in there for future's sake. And then we got another little dust cover for the bearings. And we're going to take that, spin that back on. Oh, gotta be careful not to let that brake fall out. Alright. Then we're going to take the last set of bearings. This is the actual bearings that the wheel actually
ride on these bearings during cranking, and the inside bearings during coasting and braking.